Welcome, everyone. My name is Ola. Today, we're going to continue our discussion on financial dimension. We've actually talked about financial dimensions, and today we want to go further by discussing dimension values. This series is one of the series in our general ledger. We've talked about chart of main account categories. We've talked about financial dimensions, and now we are on dimension values. What are dimension values? Dimension values are values, we like call it values or entries in our financial dimension. We've created our financial dimension. Great. But what are we going to use the financial dimension for? How do we use the financial dimension? What are we going to put in the financial dimension to be able to analyze our financial data? Those are our financial our dimension values. Fine, we've already created a financial dimension. For example, let me take my pen. Yeah, created financial dimension. Say we've created, in this case, let's say we've created department. We've created our department as a financial dimension. So how do we then analyze this department? Then that will lead us to dimension values. So in this department, we can have for department in an organization. So all the departments maybe we have finance, we have sales, we have marketing, and we have operations. Operations. All these departments, they are our dimension values. Why department itself is the financial dimension. You see the difference? The broad classification, the group is the dimension. This is the grouping, is the financial dimension. Where the sub-classification, the categories, the values, the unit, the entry under this department, they are our dimension values. Your finance department, your sales department, marketing department, operations department, they are our dimension values. So under each financial dimension, then we have dimension values. Okay, this is just like a theoretical aspect. We're just trying to lay the foundation of for our presentation. Okay, so now that we understand dimension values, we understand financial dimensions, which we've done in the previous video. We also understand financial dimension values. We need to get to the environment and see how these dimension values are being used in in D365. Okay, without wasting time, let's get into it. All right, we're in the environment. So as usual, I start with my modules. From modules, I go to my general ledger. From general ledger, chart of accounts, dimensions, and my financial dimensions. Okay, here in my financial dimension, I want to create a financial dimension. I want to create a dimension value. So I select any financial dimension that I want to use. Here, I want to use my cost center. Let's say I use my cost center because it is a custom. So it's my cost center, my financial dimension. Now I need to create a dimension value. So go to after selecting the financial dimension that you want to use. We already discussed how to create all this in the last video. But here we are focusing on dimension value. Select your dimension value. It opens up. We already have some dimension values in the system. So we want to create a new one. So select new. So what is the name of this dimension value? This cost center. We can name it, what's the last one here? Okay, let me say 975 0. Okay, then description, you can say you can say accounts. This is just for illustration purpose. After creating this, then you select save. So let's check, is it already in the system? This is 9750. That's just a basic way of creating a dimension value. All other things here, they are secondary. They are not mandatory. But due to because of organization requirement, then during the information gathering process or in your organization, you might need to also create all this. But basically, when you are creating a dimension value, these are the things that are needed. Just set it up, this dimension value description, and you are done. But we now go a step further to actually discuss all these parameters. When discussing these parameters, since we already know how to create a new dimension, then a new dimension value, the next thing to do is for us to now go deeper into all this. So in that case, let me save this. It's better to use, let me use the one I've been using. Yeah, business unit. Okay, business unit. When business unit, you go to your dimension values. I go to my dimension values. I already have all this in the system. Great. So let's start. We've created this. Let me click on edit. Select edit. We have home, just number one, home. So what in the general tab, if you look at the general tab, I have active from. If I delete my active from is just telling you that this dimension value should be active from this date to also to this date, which means after this date, if you select this active to, after the active to date, the dimension value will not be available. Then from, it means dimension, this value you are creating will be available for transactions from that date. But if it is left empty, you are not defining anything. So it's active from the day you created. It is being created. And if this one also is left on empty, it's going to be active in the system. Okay. Next thing is suspended. If after creating your dimension value and you make this active, you turn it to yes. It means the dimension value will not be available for transaction in the system. When users are creating a transaction, they're posting transaction and they want to use D001 home in the transaction, it will not be available because you've actually suspended it in the settings. Okay, I will turn it off. We are going to test that shortly. Group dimension. Group dimension is, for example, you want this dimension value to report to another dimension, maybe during consolidation. When you are consolidating this dimension value, you want it to report to another dimension value at the higher level. Okay, then you use a group dimension. Then calculate total from this dimension value. If we turn it off, if you turn this off, you can see this total is active. Let me turn it off. I turn it off. So it's not active. This means you want this dimension value. You want to calculate, you want to like a sum. You want to sum some dimension values and report it in this dimension. Let's take a look. Let's turn it on. We turn it on and the total becomes active. I select total. Just the dimension value. Okay, we can use this for this transaction. I will come back to that later on. Okay. So then the next one is do not allow manual entry. Here you are telling the system that the system should not allow manual entry. It means users will not be able to use this financial. If you turn it on, users will not be able to use this financial dimension value in manual journal. When you are posting journal, user will not be able to use this. Okay, then this is the owner who is responsible for this dimension value. Is it your finance? You select the user. Is it the finance manager? Is it the manager of the unit? Is it so you assign this to a user? Okay, then require dimensions to be value balanced. If you want the dimension to be balanced, meaning when you post transaction on the debit side, say 100 on £1,000, there must also be a corresponding £1,000 on the credit side. That is what this one is helping you to do. Okay, with this you'll be able to generate we'll be able to generate a balanced trial balance for this dimension value. Okay, then legal entity override. Legal entity override is telling you that fine, you've set up this default settings. You set us this default settings. This is your default settings, right? This is your default settings for this dimension value. But this is telling you that I still want to override these basic settings. That's why override. That's why you see override. I have these settings, but I want to override. So if you want to override these basic settings, you want to override the basic settings, then you use your legal entity override. For which entity do I want to override the settings for? Maybe I want to override for this. Yep. I select, I had. This is the name. This is this. Am I suspending this dimension value? Is active for other unit or other legal entity, but I want to suspend for this entity. You can suspend for this. Okay, if I want it to be active from to this date, then you select as well. Okay, then owner who is responsible. Here you select who is responsible at the global level, but here who is going to be responsible in this company, I can select it. Okay, you are telling the system that I have this default settings, but bypass the six settings and apply this. That is what legal entity is helping you to do. Okay, so now let's try and test this what we have done so far. I want to see which one are we testing first. Okay, let's see, do not allow manual entry. Okay, let's test. We've set this one that the system should not allow manual entry. Okay, let's click save. Let's go to journal. We are on business unit. Let's try and raise a journal, new journal. Okay, general journal. Okay, open lines. We have the lines. Okay, then our account. What's the main account? So we select, say, bank account. That pick cost center. We pick our cost center, then business unit. Business unit, let's select home, number one. You see, it's giving me a query. Okay, that means something is wrong. But don't worry, let's continue. Then let's say this one, we select bad. Okay, oh good, fine, let's continue. It has given me the query. You see, say value 001 is not allowed for manual entry. Enter another value, which means this is responding to the setup we have used here. Do not allow in manual entry. You see? Okay, so if I change this, is there any query? No query. I can process the transaction. Okay, but immediately I select something, immediately when I select business unit, yeah, it's going to give me a query. Okay, that's the purpose of this setting. So let's turn it off and I select save again. Which other one do we want to test? Okay, requires dimension value to be balanced. Let's turn this one on. We want our dimension to be balanced. Good. Let's test this again. Okay, let me refresh this. Refresh. Okay, we're still using 12. Let me use 12 again. Okay, which account? select this cost center, this 001. Okay, this, let me just use any. Okay, this one for illustration purpose, we just want to make it snappy. First, let's say 100, 1000. Yeah. On the other side, offset account, that is the debit side. The credit side, what are we posting to? Let's say we're using this, everything. Now you say required dimension to be balanced, right? Okay, you can see the other side, I use business unit 001. Fine. Can I save? I save. Great. There is no error, right? So now, let me now remove business unit because in my settings, I said, where is it? This one. I said, where is 001? Business unit must be balanced. Okay. Let me now see. I have business unit on this side, 001, but there is no 001, no business unit. Let me save and let's see if there is going to be a query. Okay, no query, so let's validate. Validate, or let me simulate posting. Let's see if there is going to be error or not. Okay. This is the result. Let's see the message. The entry for business unit 001 is not balanced. Debit entry must equal credit entry. Posting has been cancelled. So we tested what is going to be the result of this transaction. We've set up this system, this dimension value, that it must balance here. But when we were posting, we posted transaction, we use it on the credit side, on the debit side, one side, and for the other side, business unit was empty. So that is why we got this error. That is the purpose of this button. But if we select save, we turn it off. Let's test again. Cancel this error. Cancel this. It's still empty. Business unit here is still empty. We've not used anything. So we save. Let's simulate posting again and see. Fine. Transaction completed. Transaction completed. So we're fine because we've told the system we don't need the dimension value to be balanced. All right. Hope that is clear. Okay, then let's move on to calculate total dimension value. So let's turn it off, turn it on, and this, we say proceed. Okay, we can use this. Let's try and use, I think, 078. Let me use 078. Okay, let me turn it on, turn this on, manual, yes. Yes. Okay. Now, the first thing to do is the sum. We want to sum some dimension values from where? Yeah. So you want to sum from this auto to where do you want to sum to? Let's say this up to this level. Then when you run your report, the system will automatically sum all this together and report it in this dimension value. All right. This invert sign is telling you that, say for example, all these are expense, maybe they are debit. Okay, debit by tradition, they are debit entry, which is plus, 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 plus. But when you are reporting, maybe when you are doing your report, you want to change that positive, which is plus, to minus, then you select invert. But if you are not changing anything, you don't need to select this. If they are all minus in the entry, which is credit minus, and you want to invert, you want to change it to plus when you're reporting, then you can say invert sign, which means at the end of in your reporting, the system will not report as negative, it will change it to plus. If it's positive, the system will change it to negative. Okay, that's the purpose of this invert sign, but we are not doing this. So let me delete it. Deleted. Then we go back. Okay, so we've been able, we don't need total for now. So we've been able to talk about all this, active from suspended, and all this. Okay, next I think I need to talk about derived dimension. Okay, derived dimension. Okay, let's quickly talk about derived dimension. Okay, sorry. This is where you have your derived dimension. I'm active on cost center. This is my cost center. Then derived dimension. Then I have cost center, say 007. When I select 007, I want 001 ohm to pop up. What derived dimension is telling you is when you select a particular dimension value, another dimension also should pop up. You want to derive another dimension value another uh, from another dimension. In this case, when I select cost center and I put in 007, automatically business unit 001 should be populated in my transaction. Let's quickly test that in our journal. Okay, start session. Okay, say I'm on, let me use this journal 13. Okay, let me delete all this. I delete this. Okay, yeah, I'm telling the system, okay, I want to process to say this. And I'm saying when I select cost center, our setting says 001. You can see business unit is empty. But when I select 07, automatically business unit pops up. Okay, that is what derived dimension is helping us to do. Whenever I select 007, automatically derive another unit, derived dimension, derive another dimension for me. In this case, 001. All right, let me save and I go back. Then okay, then this one, there's this button here. If you make this one active, you select it, replace existing dimension values with derived dimension. You are telling the system that in case I have selected this one, this okay, I need to refresh it, but let me just explain. But this is, you are telling the system if uh, I have a I've used another dimension here which I did not set up 003, whereas my settings is saying 001. Immediately that settings, this checkbox is telling you that immediately I now put in my settings. In this case, I set up 007, give me 001, but I've put 003 here. So in my settings, I said 007, give me 001. Immediately I click 007. Whatever that I have here will change to 001. That is what that checkbox is telling us. It's going to replace this value here. Okay, that is the purpose of that checkbox. I just thought that I need to explain this. Then how do we add this segment? You can see add segment. I've added business unit. If you want to add more, just click on your add segment. You have all of them here. If you want to add any other unit, maybe you want to add condition, add segment. You have it in the system. Then you want to add any dimension value, you place it there. Then if you want to do further settings on this one, you can see all from move left to move right. You have them here. You want to delete, you see it. Then prevent condition value changes. Okay, you set this one to be 200. You don't want users to be able to change this value. You want 200 when they are posting transaction. You want them to post to this 200 using this derived dimension. Then you can set it to prevent. You can see it will pop up. That means user will not be able to change this when they are posting their transaction. Okay. Then also, if you want to prevent this one, you can also make this one active. You also prevent business unit value changes. Okay, you see it. So you can toggle it and make them prevent or unprevent. If you want to remove the prevent changes, select it again, then allow. You change it to allow. All right. So I think with this, we've been able to cover enough ground. You can say we've been able to cover enough ground on financial dimensions. We explained financial dimensions, entity back, custom dimension to derived dimension to dimension values. We explain all those. Okay, I think with this, the only thing I think I need to talk about maybe in future is financial dimension set. But for now, I think I need to pen that because I need us to move forward to account structure. Okay, so the next video that will be coming up will be on account structure. Stay connected so that when the video drops and the presentation file, you'll be able to follow up and get notified. If this video is beneficial and you have enjoyed it, kindly like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you and see you in the next video.